there are no more jobs. And the few that there are, you're competing with 5 million other people, and they're requiring that you offer up your firstborn and already come with 45 years of experience.
It is time for women to come back to the table and come clean. $15 trillion pumped into an economy. There is no more money. There's about to be not a global recession, a global reset. Winter is coming.
So a lot of the sisters are out in the cold.
I know this is a really difficult moment for so many different types of people, and that this moment isn't going to last forever, but it is incredibly disheartening to have spent the last 17 years of my life hustling and grinding to be in higher education and STEM fields like science and neuroscience, and be a freshly minted PhD with my doctorate in neuroscience, and still struggle so much to not only find a job, but find one that pays a livable wage. What do you mean I have the highest educational degree that you can get in the entire world, something that only 2% of people in the world have, and I'm struggling to find a job that pays more than a fast food manager position?
I know you lying. Are you telling me that America has had y'all chasing these dreams, but not chasing things that might really matter in life? Look at this.
If you factor in the time that I took to do my bachelor's degree, then work for 5.5 years after the bachelor's degree doing like highly technical research jobs, research associate doing stereotaxic, cranial windowing surgeries, to advance, research about how our visual system processes information, managing an entire research laboratory at the VA Puget Sound, where I did like literally every aspect of the research, budgeting, training people, hiring people, conducting the research, writing, grant writing. Like I had 4 published manuscripts from that one experience. Then a 5-year doctorate program where I was working truly like 60 hours a week, sometimes a lot more, just because the workload was so intense and the pay was so little. So I also went into further debt to do that. And my grad student experience was very successful, objectively. If you look at my resume, it's like the first person in the history of my department to secure over $300,000 in fellowships and research grants and external funding, co-founded a nonprofit to support underrepresented folks into STEM fields, early career awards, 5 published manuscripts. I was busy. What I find so disheartening about this conversation too is that people will say, oh, well, just don't go into research, don't go into science, don't go into higher education if you want to be rich. That shouldn't be the point. We should not only let class privileged people advance scientific discovery. We can see how horrific that has been for scientific discovery up until this point. Class privileged people should not be the only ones able to get an education and advance our fields. That's ridiculous logic. And nobody's trying to get rich off of science, but like a livable wage, one that says, hey, you can afford to live in the city that you are working. You can afford to pay off some of your student loans that you had to take out of necessity to get to this point. And you might have a little bit extra to be able to support your aging family or your children.
Okay, ma'am, that's not logical. If you're going to pick a career and you are choosing not to be with a spouse, y'all climb the ladder because you giving back to your community? At least that's what they sold y'all. And what are you leaving the black man behind? I mean, come on, that only makes sense. You can't take care of your family off that wage that you just showed. Make it make sense.
That should not be a ridiculous ask. There's a big difference between being a millionaire and being rich, and just affording the cost of living. And it makes me so sad too, because although I have really been an advocate for getting more people into the sciences and STEM fields, especially Black and Indigenous people with intersecting marginalized identities, and now I feel like I'm being put in this really interesting position where I don't even know if I want to advocate for people to take this path. If the average cost of college education in state is approaching $30,000 a year, who can afford that? Literally, who is affording education in this country? It's not everybody, and it's certainly not those in the margins of the margins. So I feel very torn about not only advancing and continuing on this career path, but then advocating for other people to do the same. Even though science has been my passion from day one, science has been something that I felt called to do. But unfortunately, people with class privilege and people who are debt-free get to have the ability to explore that passion more than those who don't. Last thing I'll say that's really disheartening is just watching how capitalism is just keeping people just so stuck in survival mode, just trying to get by the next day, week, month, year, and preventing people from having the capacity, the time, not only just to live, but also to fight back against so many injustices that are happening around our country and around the world. It's clearly by design, right? Take somebody, just make them struggle to afford to live. That way they'll be too busy to pay attention to what this government is doing.
I tell you what's crazy to me is that y'all don't realize how they scholarship y'all, the scholarship trap. You don't understand how they fed all the Pell Grants to certain majors, and Black women fell for it. I mean, and now what do you have? Like, you get funded to go into HR and DEI. And now what? What's happening now? What are y'all gonna do right now? And then the fallout. 300,000 Black women laid off. No safety net, no plan B, because they pushed y'all into those fields. And I think a lot of y'all thought that y'all was stepping on these men's heads, thinking y'all was boss chicks, instead of going to go and make a family with somebody and bonding with the men. Without the men, you're not moving forward. I don't understand what's so hard about that. What do you have to fall back on? The Black man was pushed out of different things, right? But they took a lot of trades. They did a lot of engineering. They did coding. They did data science. They did AI, which is still in high demand right now. A lot of women are more pushed towards psychology and health and government. And I don't think people realize women wasn't pushed towards tech and finance. And that's some of the things that make money right now. So think about it. Men, they learn how to code, and they didn't have to go to school forever for it either. And it makes you wonder, was it intentional? Did the government push these women to fields that was designed to collapse? I really think they did. Why was all the women just pushed to that? Why did y'all not listen? Kevin talked about this. Kevin Samuels talked about all these different fields that was going to crash and burn. And y'all said that he hated women. He did not hate women. He was trying to let y'all know what was going on. You can't hug your degrees. You can't. Them jobs was never, ever supposed to stay. It was not supposed to stay. The DEI program and HR and all the social services, first ones to be cut off in these corporate layoffs. And now look, what is going to be done? Especially a lot of the single mothers out here. What's going to happen? Who you going to call? Because the men, they ain't trying to hear it. They are not about to come pick you up when you fall. And which a lot of women don't understand, that you got to build with men. They not coming to come build you up like Mrs. Potato Head. And there is no success without our men. You thought you was going to step on his head and get to the next step? That's not how it does not work like that at all. And like I said before, men, the women about to start calling you. They about to start sending you the big head texts, because this is only getting worse.